Hey everybody in YouTube world, hope this video is finding you doing all well. So I've gone and done it again. Boom! I was so impressed with the Quilter SuperBlock UK. I was curious about the Quilter SuperBlock US and I ended up buying one. However, I don't know about you guys in the US or where you're watching from, but here in Canada, the Quilter SuperBlocks have gone up $50 from when they first came out. So when I bought mine, it was $3.49. I bought it through, I think it was Cosmo Music, and then off of Amazon or whatever, and then they recently have gone up to $3.99, and I'm like, I'm not that curious. I don't want to pay $400 for pretty much, a very similar amp. But I got in contact with a guy on Reverb, the Reverb site, and he was selling this one. And he said in his ad that he had to get surgery on his fretting hand, and I'm like, oh God, I feel for you, buddy. Anyway, so he was selling a bunch of his gear off, and it was a reasonable price. So I even like, it was from the U.S. and I'm in Canada. But even with the U.S. price that he was asking for, with the exchange rate and the shipping, it was still cheaper for me to buy his than to buy a new one. So I was kind of glad it worked out for me, and it hopefully helped him out a little bit. So if you're watching, man, thank you very much. It landed just today, and I'm sharing it with my friends online here. So I'm gonna go ahead, take this out of the box. I'm gonna hook it up, and we'll just go through some tones. So this will be part one of two. So part one, I'll just go through the Quilter US SuperBlock, just settings and the different voicings and stuff, and then I will do a comparison in part two with the SuperBlock US versus the SuperBlock UK. Like, do you really need both? Like, they are very similar amps, like as far as size, as far as features, but are they voiced that differently that it would be an advantage to get both? I don't even know. Like, we'll see tonight. How do they handle pedals? Like, do they both handle pedals well? I know my SuperBlock UK is awesome with pedals. Works great. So I'm assuming this one would be similar. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and pause that. And then when I come back, we'll be set up. I'll just be using my Telecaster. So just a cheap guitar, nothing fancy, like just something that everybody would have at home. And or like price-wise, and just my small little 10-inch cab with a Jensen P10R speaker in it. So that speaker is similar to what you would have in a Fender Pro Junior, the 4 edition with the tweed covering. They come with that speaker. So anyway, yeah. So it's kind of like a Fender amp going through a Fender-esque speaker, So we'll see what it can do. So I'll be right back. All right, guys. So we're all set up. No issues so far. Everything lit up, everything works. So I'm assuming we're gonna get some sound. So as you can see, I set everything at 12 o'clock except the limiter. I don't want to limit any potential, overdrive or whatever. So I'm just kind of, I just want the limiter on, but that's about it. So everything else 12 o'clock. So this has off, standby, and on, and just like the SuperBlock UK. In standby mode, you have no power going to the speaker, but the headphone jack is active and the line out is still active. So what I love about my UK that I've been using live at gigs is when we do a stage sound volume, I can, or if the sound guy wants to do a mix out front, I put it on standby. And then we get our levels out front because he still has my line out level. And then once everything's balanced out front, I turn my amp on, and then I adjust my volume for the stage sound, and it's great. It's awesome. I really like that feature. So this one will do the same. So again, the FR is if you're using some kind of like a line 6 kind of a unit that you want to use the sounds out of. So you would use that. The normal is just that. It's just normal cab sim. And then BRT is bright. So this just gives you a brighter kind of cab sim. Probably just a brighter type of speaker. So I just keep mine on normal. We'll keep it on normal for tonight. And then the voices here are 61, 57, and 65. So if I use the sheet here that comes with the amp, so up here 61, it says it's based on a classic blonde colored amp from the early 60s. The 57 is based on a late 50s era tweed amp, and the 65 is based on a classic black amplifier from 1965. That really says nothing to me because I was only born in 71 and I've never had any of those amps, so I have no idea what they're supposed to sound like. So anyway, so to start, I'm just going to keep everything at noon, and we're going to start in the middle, and we'll go with that. Alright, so here's the sound. Oh, that's pretty punchy. So these amps, when running through an 8 ohm speaker, can push up to 25 watts. And it says 4 to 16 ohms is okay as well. I just don't know how the wattage rating, how that changes. And again, I'm plugged into the PS24, which is the power supply that comes with the amp. But you can plug in just a regular like 9 volt pedal adapter into the plug-in in the back here, right at the very back, and that runs this amp on 1 watt of power. So if you were practicing at home, or if you actually want to use it as a pedal, just so you basically have a Fender amp as a pedal, you could run it on a 9 volt power supply that you would use in your pedal board. So it's pretty cool. It definitely is a pedal board amplifier. So definitely Fender cleans. It's like super bright and clean. I'm on the bridge pickup, and I'll stay on the bridge pickup for this whole demo. Alright, let's just go to 61 now. Again, 61 is based on a classic blonde amp. Oh, so look, all the mids are gone, like just in the same setting. So from 57 you have, and at 61, like all that low mid frequency is kind of gone. Go to 65. Oh, and 65 is bassier, but still the mids are a little weak, but there's a lot more bass on 65. So 65 is like this, and 61. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I hope it's picking up in the mic. And then 57. 57 to me seems more balanced, like from lows to highs. Let's keep it on 57 for now, and I'll just show you, what everything does. So reverb, again, lots of reverb, just like the SuperBlock UK. All kinds there. I like the reverb rate about half. treble. So you can get pretty dark tone with the treble. That's middle. Oh my gosh, that's bright. Typical Fender, it's just the ear-piercing high end. So it definitely is voiced like that. The mid knob, middle, off. Oh, scoop mids. Very scoop, just like a Fender. And full. Oh, the mid adds a little bit of gain. Not very pleasant, but it's there. Right back in the middle. And the bass. So off. Oops. So yeah, there's some bass loss there. Oh yeah, quite a bit of bass loss. And then full. Holy. Wow. All right. So I think the magic, and I haven't had many Fender amps, but I think the magic on the Fender amps is the mid and the bass to really dial in your tone, and then the treble is just really to bring in your whatever amount of highs that you want. So, and everything else is, you know, if you want more gain. So let's see if this thing will get can produce some decent overdrive. So I'm going to just pull the master down a bit. I'm going to crank the gain, and so I'm not going to go full blast. Maybe just 90%, and then I'll bring the master on. Oh, we definitely got some gain. It's not a great tone by any means. Let's try the 61. I find the 61 setting very thin, but that's where your EQ would come in. You could probably, you know, set it to how you want. But just flat, it's very thin. And the 65. The 65 and the 57. The 65 and 57 are pretty close. The 57 just has a little mid, just a bit more mid boost, you know, with the settings flat. Alright, so now let's see how effective these are. So I'm going to dial the treble down a bit. I'm going to crank the mids. Oh, and I'm going to add some bass. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Wow, that's pretty cool. Maybe a little more high. You get some good gain with this. Shut the limiter totally off. Add more bass. Gets flubby when you add a little more bass. For me, anyway, with the Telecaster. Full mids. Well, the mids don't get nasally; they just get more. They get more bitey, which is kind of nice. No mids. Oh, see, it just gets all messy. So look at the difference in sound. setting does on the different voices. So this is 57. 61. It's a little thin, so I'm going to pull the treble down and crank the mids up and maybe add a little bit more bass. Oh, that's not bad. Ah, that gets bright. Let's try the 65. 65 seems just too bassy. Let me try taking some bass off. It almost cleans up when you take the mids off. So for me, definitely the 57 is the nicer tone. I would try and maybe use it just on the verge of breakup. See if I could get some kind of a, you know, a little bit of breakup, maybe put some limiter on. I kind of like that as a, you know, just a kind of cleanish but yet a little bit of dirt tone. So it's nice and clean when you're, you know, just strumming. Then when you dig in, you get that nice grit. That's it, guys. So the mid, the bass, and the gain, extremely versatile. The limiter, so here I got some dirt. Very compressed, very controlled. There we have it. There it is. Let me just crank this up. Whoop. So there you go. There's the Quilter US, and this is, that's just my little ERT telly going through a 10-inch speaker, which is right over there. So a 10-inch speaker cab. So again, hopefully the mic picks that up, clearly on your end, so you get an idea what it would sound like in your basement. Basically, no editing, no software, no recording, nothing. Just it is what it is. And so these things are great. They sound good. I think I like my UK better, but we're gonna test them side by side and see how they do. So anyway, take it easy. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you set yours up if you have one. And God bless. And we'll chat soon. See ya.